is the Waupaca City Plan Commission meeting.
All right, it is 5:17. Sorry, guys, we're a little bit late here. We have a couple of public notices before we go to the City Planning Commission meeting. So let's start by calling this public hearing to order. Our first one on the agenda, oops, now I got to get back up there, is the rezoning of Christian Kane Ashby et al., 1126 Ware Street. And Jared, you're going to have to explain this, why this has something to do with an ordinance. Okay? So,
Of course.
you want to explain what this public hearing is all about, please?
Yeah, so this is for a rezone. So this property is currently triple zoned. It has I1 or I2, RC, and R1 all on this parcel. So they are looking to come forward and put a accessory structure on their parcel, which we cannot allow until they are zoned properly. So they are coming forward, essentially to clean up, to rezone. If you look on page 10 of your regular packets, there's a certified survey map. So they're looking to rezone lot 2 to strictly R1, which there's a single family house on it already. So it is the appropriate zoning district. The lot 1 will remain I2 for future industrial. So that's the gist of it. Happy to take any questions when we get to it.
I mean, it really fits in with the neighborhood, right?
It does. Yep. I mean, to the east is the country club. To the north is industrial. I mean, to the east is industrial. It's been a house for a long time. Our future land use map does have it as R1. So it fits in with what it should be. Eventually, it could not be the only house on the parcel. That's probably more the intent. But for this point in time, or at this point in time, it is the only house, and it's been there. So.
And so we have to change our ordinance because we're rezoning this property, or how's that work?
So the ordinance it just comes in ordinance format, the rezone, because we're making an amendment to the zoning map,
Okay,
which is a part of our ordinance.
okay. So when we go to planning commission, are we approving just one thing?
Council,
Well, no, planning, or
you're making a
recommending-
recommendation to council to approve, or you can
Just
recommend
approve the
approval or
ordinance.
denial of the zoning change,
Okay.
of the ordinance zoning change.
Can I ask a question? Can you clarify, was that zoning from R1 to what?
So right now it's zoned I2, RC, and R1.
Say that again. I1.
I2, RC, sorry,
Okay.
I2, RC, and R1.
Okay.
He's typing with one finger now, we're slow down.
And it's moving to?
R1, strictly.
Okay.
Got it, Mr. Secretary?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Justin. Okay, anything else, Jared, before I turn it over to the audience? Okay, this is a public hearing, so people that are in favor of this change, please step up to the podium, give your name and address for the record, limit your time to 3 minutes or less. Anybody that's here to speak in favor of this zoning change? If not, we'll take opposition. Is there any opposition to this zoning change? Any opposition to this zoning change? Hearing none, I'll declare this public hearing closed at 5:20 p.m. We did have two public hearings that we're doing, and so this is the second one. And this one we're going to talk about at the regular meeting also. And this has to do with the Peterson Brothers LLC, and you can read what it says there, but I'll ask Jared to just summarize it for us.
Of course. So the property owner, Peterson Bros Property LLC, and Representative Mark Peterson, who is in the audience if you have questions today, they did come forward with a request to put a level 3 charging station, electric vehicle charging station on their parcel. With this being in a B3 Central Business District zoning district, it is a conditional use, so they are coming forward for that conditional use. They do plan to also do some level 2 charging stations and they already have a level 2 charging station, I believe. But those are permitted uses, so they're not included in the conditional use, but they will be approved in the site plan.
Okay. Everybody understand? Any questions? Like he said, we have both brothers here tonight, Mark and Todd Peterson, if you have any questions. All right, again, public hearing. If there's anybody in favor of this addition to their business, please step up to the podium, give your name and address for the record, limit your time to 3 minutes or less. Anybody that would like to give testimony in favor? All right, hearing none. Any testimony in opposition? Any testimony in opposition? All right, hearing none on both sides, I declare this hearing closed at 5:22 p.m. And you want to just go into the regular planning commission meeting, right? Okay.
Good to go.
All right, let's start over here. So welcome everybody to the City of Waupaca City Planning Commission meeting. Today is Wednesday, June 7th, 2023, and it's 5:23 p.m. In attendance, we have Eric Olson, Wayne. As commissioners, I'm going to say first, thank you, Ivan. I should have just said Ivan. Mayor Brian Smith and Justin Behrens. And then we have staff, of course. We have our city administrator, Aaron Jensen, and we also have Jared Reku. Okay. Okay. All right. So we do have somebody online for later in the meeting and so on. All right. You have an agenda in front of you. We do have a quorum, by the way. We have 4, so we're good to go. We would need a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Justin, second by Eric to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Again, say no. Motion carried. Approval of planning commission minutes. We just approved these so we could place them on file. It gives you the opportunity to read through and see if you agree with what actually happened at the prior meetings. We actually had 2. We had a public hearing and meeting minutes. So if you're okay with that, we would need a motion to approve so we can place them on file.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Justin, second by Ivan, to approve the minutes of the May 3rd meetings. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. Down to action items. Rezoning. Christian Kane Ashby et al., 1126 Ware Street. And this will have to be done in ordinance form 09/2023. Christian, you can hear us okay?
Hi, actually, this is Jameson and Andrew Ashby as parents, but yes, we can hear you fine.
You suck. Here, come on. We can hear you.
It's just echoey. So
Do they have their phone and they're on? Are they doing both?
yeah, do you have a couple different devices, Mr.
Nope,
Ashby?
just the one device. I'm traveling right now, so it might be coming through. I'm driving.
Okay, sounds good. We'll okay. He's on mute, so we'll go through it.
Sorry. This isn't last night, Eric. Okay. All right. I'm assuming that you're just okay with, you want to just hear what's going on here. And so, again, we're just going to ask, we did this during the public hearing, but this is the official city planning commission. So before we make a decision on this, we again should have Jared explain exactly what's happening there. So, Jared.
Yeah, of course. So this one starts on page 8 of your packets. The staff report starts on page 9. So a little background work to this was completed. They did have a certified survey map completed for this property that actually split the one parcel into 2. So there's lot 1 and lot 2, which can be seen on page 10. This certified survey map has been recorded and is complete at the county. So now that the two lots have been split, Lot 1 will remain I-2, and that's how it is currently zoned. Lot 2, which is the bigger parcel which has the house on it, which is currently zoned I-2, RC, and R1, which is heavy industrial, as I-2, RC is resource conservation, and R1 is single-family residential. So in the zoning map on page 11, you can see a pink, which is R1, a green, which is RC, and a purple, which is I-2. So they are looking to just change that triple zone parcel to a single zoned parcel, which would be R1, which fits in the future land use map and fits their current land use on the parcel, which is a single family home. After looking at this, it's staff's recommendation to approve. Happy to take any questions if there are any.
Okay, as Jared alluded to, we had a public hearing, and we did not have anybody speak at that. And staff, Jared, is recommending that we go forward and approve this, or recommend to council, ordinance number 09/2023, which is actually a zoning change to these properties. So, any discussion? Anybody want to make a motion to approve this ordinance, or recommend to council this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to recommend to council.
Second.
We have a motion by Ivan, second by Eric, that we recommend to council ordinance number 09/2023, and this is just rezoning the property on Ware Street. And we have the description in there you can read. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. You're all set to go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next up. Only an elected official can talk like that, I guess. Next up is conditional use permit, Peterson Brothers LLC, 1407 Royalton Street. Again, we had a public hearing earlier. We did not have anybody speak at that. We do have the two owners of this property from Peterson Brothers Properties LLC in attendance with us. And Jared, again, just quickly explain what they want to do here.
Of course. So this is 1407 Royalton Street, Peterson Automotive. There's obviously already a sales service repair of passenger vehicle land use on this parcel. They are looking to add to that and add some electric vehicle charging stations. A couple of the level 2 charging stations will be approved just with a site plan. They are bringing forward this conditional use permit, which would be a recommendation to council for a level 3 addition, or a level 3 charging station. After review, I guess it appears the site plan is good to go, and staff would recommend approval of the conditional use permit for the level 3.
Okay, any questions or comments on this? Go ahead, Eric. Yeah,
Jared, you mentioned they have level 2 chargers, and that does not, that's permitted. This is a conditional use. Can you please just explain why that is?
Yeah, so as you go up, so level 1 is kind of really, best I can describe it, it's pretty simple to use with any at home. You can just plug it into a normal panel. There's a adapter that you can use. It's pretty standard for residential. It's in most of the electric vehicles for just backup. If you're somewhere and you need to quickly plug in, takes the longest. It's just your normal amperage. Level 2 is a step up. If I'm incorrect on any of these, feel free to jump in. But level 2 is a step up, higher amperage. It'll charge the car faster. It does require some special electrical hookup. I think it can still run off a regular home panel. Just I think it's actually a double breaker. It requires 240. So now when you get to the level 3, that is a substantial amount of energy that it is pulling and charging, using to charge the car. I think a good analogy is actually, which seems like a lot, but picture how many things you actually have being used in your house at one time. But I think a level 3 charging station pulls the equivalent of like 10 houses at one time. and it's a 480. 480. So it's quite a large jump in electric usage. So we do have these level 3 charging stations permitted in the areas where we allow like the gas stations. Typically is where we want to see the gas stations. Now in the B3, just because it's a step down, general commercial, it's usually closer to some of the residential neighborhoods. It is a conditional use just because we want to double check that, hey, it's going to work in this area. We're not disturbing electrical usage in a residential area, causing issues for them. Things like that. It's not going to cause a safety hazard, which in this case, it does not do any of those. So,
Okay, very good explanation. Thank you.
All right, anybody else have any questions? Again, this is a conditional use permit, so if you're okay with it, we would just pass it on to council, so we would need a motion to have this moved to the council.
I'll make a motion to recommend to council this conditional use permit as presented.
Second?
Okay, we got a motion by Justin, second by Ivan. Any questions? Discussion? Ready to vote? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Say against, say no. All right, motion carried. Good luck, guys. Next one is June 20th.
I'll send you an email.
Sure, Jarrett will be in touch.
Guys, and it'll just be on the council agenda.
We'll get our electrician on it right away to get the permit stuff all filled out right now.
That works.
We'll start digging and get somebody working.
See ya.
Yeah, see you guys.
Shots fired. Make sure they get their permit.
I think they were ripping on you.
Not me, Justin.
I'm gonna make sure they get their permit.
Are you?
Might.
Okay, Public Works, settle down.
Gonna double permit them.
That like double secret probation?
Yeah, for them guys.
Okay. All right. Are we all old enough to know what that even meant?
Oh, yeah.
I
Okay.
am. Ivan?
Ivan, do you know what that's for?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Haven't we
It was
all?
before my time, but I have seen it.
Jarrett, have you seen it?
Nope.
You have not seen Animal House?
No.
Oh. Have you, Aaron? Oh, okay.
If you've been a college student, you had to have seen Animal House.
Especially if you had anything to do with, that and being in a
Fraternity?
fraternity. Yeah. Or a
fo-
sorority.
I focused on my studies.
What's that?
Focused on my studies.
I'm sure.
Let's focus
I
on
wish
3
it
to
was-
5 acre lot sizes.
Okay, that's probably good.
We won't go there. Next up, discussion items, 3 to 5 acre lot maximum for R1 and R2. And so R1 and R2 is maximum, before I turn it over to you. That's just duplexes.
So R1 is single family, intended for single family. R2 can be single family or duplexes. R3 can be multifamily, duplexes, or single family.
And what is apartment buildings?
Multifamily.
Just multi, so they're not even into the R part.
No, so we're not into multifamily here. We're just talking about
Different zone?
really duplexes and single family.
All right. And,
Yeah, R3 is one.
okay. Well, tell me, I read through your stuff, but tell me what you're trying to do here.
Yeah, so actually this is something that was brought up by the Plan Commission. So bringing that back forward, I won't call out who it was, but he is here today.
Justin.
What? Seriously?
Actually, it was Eric. He had mentioned it.
I did.
He did.
Oh, here we go now.
Well, anyways, so
We got you covered, Eric. You didn't even remember
Wow,
what you
there
did
are-
yesterday.
There are
remember?
lots of shots being fired tonight.
I got to call bullshit on that.
so this was brought up. So we went through the lot standards. We had talked about minimum acreage that a lot could be, and that's intended to be put into place so you don't have a tiny lot that the house fills in the whole lot. It's intended to kind of regulate the size a little bit. So we did take a look at that. We talked about how, again, in the city, you're kind of looking for a little bit more density. We put in a lot of money for infrastructure, things like that. So still maintaining separation, but keeping the density. And along with that density, comment or conversation came, well, do we regulate the maximum size that a lot could be? you know, might see, especially in more rural communities, you see a house put on 40 acres. You know, is that something that we would want to see or encourage in the city, or try to discourage and encourage more density? So wanted to bring this forward as just a discussion item. Thought a map would be best. So I did have Rhonda, our GIS specialist, put this map together. And what it shows is the yellow is any residentially zoned lot that is 5 or more acres. The green is any residentially zoned lot that is 4 or more acres. And then the purple is any residentially zoned lot that is 3 or more acres. So essentially what this would be really looking at is, I'll take the 5-acre example. So if we were to put a requirement in place that any single family home, the maximum lot size requirement is 5 acres, you would take a look at any of these yellow parcels. And essentially what's that saying is, hey, you know, you cannot just put a house on this one 5-acre parcel. You have to split it in a way that it's 5 acres or less, and that additional housing can be built on it. So there are a few that, if you, I guess we also have it labeled so that just the single hash is improved, and the double hash, so the X's, are unimproved. So there are 32 improved lots, which many of them actually probably shouldn't be residentially zoned anyways, and we're working on fixing that. For example, like the mobile home park at the north side of the city, that should be zoned mobile home in the mobile home district. We have the school district just off of Churchill Street, that is zoned R1, which that should be more institutional. So there's some things we got to fix. So there are 22 parcels that would fit this description, but really in all reality, there's very few that would be affected. But as you continue to go down, of course, you're kind of looking at, are we creating nonconformities? And there are a couple of these, for example, over in the bottom left of Aaron's screen, that is over on Hill Street. So talking with that property owner, they're looking at splitting that parcel up anyways. So again, there's ways, it's not prohibiting development, it's trying to encourage density though. So as I look at this map, you know, my recommendation would be 3 would be just fine. 3 acres would be the maximum. And any houses or any parcels with existing houses on there would be fine to continue. It would just be any new houses we wouldn't permit on lots larger than 3 acres. And
This is pretty common.
the lot size maximum, it is pretty common. The number that is selected is more catered to the community. You know, honestly, I guess you really, nowadays you see a lot of parcels that are a quarter to like a half acre. I think that's probably the standard size in any newer subdivision. But, you know, again, trying to just discourage the larger parcels from just having a single house. Again, we're looking towards needing more housing. And then when you have just a single house built on 5 acres, that takes up what could have been 5 to 10 houses of reasonably sized lots. So I would say it's fairly common in most communities that are continuing to expand in this fashion. So again, just a discussion item. I wanted to bring you maps, get your thoughts. If there was no preference and wanted to come back with another map or needed more information, I'm happy to get that for you.
I do have a question.
Sure.
So hypothetically, if this was adopted and I owned a 5-acre vacant lot and I wanted to put a single family home on it, you would prohibit that, or would you
We'd require you to split it.
split the property?
You'd have to split the property before you could build.
Okay.
So we'd be all for encouraging you to build. It would just, you need to split the property and then,
And I could still own all 5 acres.
Yep.
1 acre would have a house on it. The rest would have
Yep.
vacant. Okay.
And most of the, well, I shouldn't say that, but, I mean, you know, in the subdivisions and stuff like that, most of the lots are less than an acre. So is there a reason why we're using 3? not just one?
There isn't. I wanted to start. Excuse me. I wanted to start high and go start. Continue to go lower. Of course, the lower and lower you go, you create a few more nonconformities. They're again allowed to continue. They can expand. If they're looking to expand or do something different, they just may need to come in and get a variance, considering they were pre-existing. That would kind of be their hardship. We enacted, something that disallows them from fully doing something now, so that would be their hardship, and that would be reasonable. So there's ways to get around that for a few of them that are existing, but we can certainly go lower. That's if the Plan Commission wanted to see a map that showed the 2 acre ones, and then maybe the 1 acre ones, we could do that. But more and more lots will show up the lower you go.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
So then also, if you look at these lots, and then I suppose if you go down to the 2, you're gonna find some lots that, they might be 3 acres or 4 acres, but you're only gonna be able to get one house on it anyways, and so why split it if you know?
And there's cases like that. So that would again be where the variance comes in. So say there's a property where wetlands would prohibit you from building anything but in one little tiny spot. That would just be something that's brought forward in a variance. That parcel would always have that variance, and they'd just be able to they'd be able to continue as is. So it'd just be an extra step for those special properties. They'd have to come in, get that variance, and then they'd be good to go to continue operating as they have.
And so are we saying, and I don't know, I can't remember if you said this or not, but even though you're showing all these different colored properties, these properties are not vacant.
Some of them
Or
are not
some
vacant. Some of them are. Yeah, the
Okay.
crisscrossed ones. So, Aaron's kind of pointing to some of them. The ones with the more hash marks, crisscross hash marks, are undeveloped.
Okay.
And the
they're
ones with the-
buildable?
And what?
And they're buildable?
Most of them are. I guess if you look at the ones on the far left screen, yep, those are wetlands, some of the areas. So
Okay.
there's some areas that they won't be buildable no matter what, but
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Jared, let's say I'm an owner of a 7-acre parcel, and
Sure.
I've always wanted my house to be on the back half of that, furthest away from road access. But I couldn't split up my parcel in a way that met that 3-acre maximum. Could I, we have lot dimensions. Could I create a flag lot to get back to the location that I'd want my house to be at, or would I be restricted to creating a separate lot that's much closer to the street?
the way our code is set up, and that could be another discussion if I know there's flag lots are discouraged most of the time. The way our code is set up, you could do a flag lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our lot width requirement is actually measured at the setback. Actually, I'll have to get back to you. So I have to look at what it says it's measured at the setback, but I guess it would depend if it's measured at the setback of where the building's going to be placed or just whatever the setback is. So theoretically, we have a 20-foot setback from the front property line. So if it's measured from the setback of that front property line, you could have a flag lot with the first 20 feet still, I guess. But if it was measured at the setback of where the building is placed, and you place the building 175 feet back on the lot, then you could have a 175-foot flag lot. So I guess either way, you'll have a flag lot of some sort. It's just how big it could be.
Well, and if you don't mind, I got another question too. So if we do this, and let's just say we do 3 acres, so there's like 15 properties or something like that that might be affected in the whole city. How does a property owner know that, you know, that they're not in compliance? And how does somebody that's maybe gonna purchase that new home know?
I guess they probably wouldn't know unless they asked. So it'd be similar to any house that's a non-conforming use in a commercial district. I guess unless they asked or it's disclosed in the title work, in which when they do a special assessment letter, it's usually the zoning is usually changed or shown in that. So they have some indication there. It's not explicitly stated that this is a non-conforming use or this is a non-conforming lot or this lot has a variance. So I guess that's not specifically stated, but if they requested that information, then we would provide it to them.
That'd be tough, you know? I'm thinking, if I'm a new buyer and all of a sudden now I have because that could be extra expense to me too. You know, if I have a 5-acre parcel and now that I bought it, does it change the rules or as long as I don't change the house, it doesn't change anything?
If you don't change the house, it doesn't change anything.
So, but if I wanted to, what if I just wanted to do an addition on that?
If you want to do an addition or add a garage or anything like that, you could remodel the interior all day long with the proper permits. But if you want to add an addition or expand on that use at all, you would then have to just come in for a variance, which
And we're saying too that if you have a detached garage that you want to add on, if it's 3 acres, let's say, but they own 5 acres, so it's 3, you got to split. Now you split it, they can't put a garage or an accessory building or anything on that other lot.
correct. It would be intended that that other lot would again go to additional housing. Somebody else's, could come and build a house on it, their own detached garage. Again, increasing the density in the city.
It's a cool idea, but I mean, we might, including you, Jared, we might all be gone by the time any of these lots fall out of compliance or fall out of a situation where they have to comply.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the reason I say it's a cool idea, and we talk about this all the time, is that we need more residential lots in the city. So if we could figure out a way to get more lots without having to annex property, that would be awesome. And especially where we have water and sewer already.
Right, and I think that's how this whole discussion got started, along that same vein, Mayor.
Okay,
I think Eric brought something up very similar a long time ago.
okay.
Sorry for
He's trying to remember if he ever did. But
I have one more.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Question.
Go ahead.
So to kind of piggyback off of the mayor's comments, and I think you said, Jared, that it'd be a recommendation to go to the 3-acre maximum at this point, but for undeveloped property, not developed property. Can you actually write an ordinance that specifies at a certain point in time for undeveloped property? Or are you just saying that it would be for all those properties, but
It'd be for all those properties.
they'd be legal
Just the
non-conforming?
so it'd be for all the properties. Any property that is already developed would just become a
Legal non-conforming.
legal non-conforming. It's fine to continue as is. City's not going to do anything about it. Whatever. If they come to do an addition or anything like that, at that point, the city would just say, either split the lot if it's possible. If it's not possible, then they would just get a variance because they're pre-existing.
Okay,
So
makes sense.
Well, I think you're on the right page. I just think I look at mowing my lawn. My lawn's plenty big, and I'm under an acre. So, and I got a fairly big house too, I think, So, I think in the city, the smaller the lot, the better off we are. I mean, now I get it with the R2, the R1 and the R. Do the R1 and the R2 have to be the same?
no, they do not have to be the same. You can do different sizes, maximum sizes.
So with an R2, maybe 1 acre is too small. But,
You're saying because it's more for a duplex,
yeah,
so two families living there.
yeah,
Sure.
especially if they both have garages too. That would eat up 1 acre. You wouldn't be able to do it. So I think you're on the right line, but I think you gotta separate R1, R2 and say R1 is 1 acre and R2 is 3 acres
Sure.
or something like that. You guys, what do you think about that?
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. And I have one more question. You keep saying things and things keep popping in my head, Mayor. I know, sorry. Jared, what, so in some communities, even cities like Appleton, you know, I've been in some of their neighborhoods where all of a sudden there's development where it's a much higher end home on big lots. But let's call it 5 acres. If you had a 3 acre maximum and all of a sudden a developer wanted to come and have that kind of a development in the city of Waupaca, would a PUD be an option for them? And I know there's a acreage limit for PUDs. Should the limit on this match up with the acreage limit for our PUD creation?
PUD would be a little different. I mean, even some of the large
Tell us what a PUD is again.
PUD is a planned unit development.
Okay.
So really, it's intended for more complicated projects. So maybe you have a mall with multiple buildings on the mall, you know, or an outdoor strip mall. Yeah, something unique like that, or a place like, I know it's not, they actually don't have its own PUD, but a place like Century World, where it's a wedding venue, a golf course. You know, they have it split zoned, but their zoning code's obviously different than ours. But that would be maybe a place for a PUD. You know, something this unique development. The hospital is actually a really good one. You know, it has multiple buildings. It's different uses in each building. It's a very complicated land use that, of course, is a great benefit to the city. Brings a lot to the city, so it's something you want to try to accommodate. But I would not say if you enact this lot maximum and somebody wants to just come build a really big house, that would not be something that would warrant a PUD.
Not one big house, but a developer who wanted a big, a neighborhood.
Oh, like a neighborhood of homes?
Right.
Oh, I guess in that case, yes. I guess that would be, again, a complicated, you're building out a very large area with multiple large homes. Yes. At that point, I guess a PUD would probably be the best.
And then what is the acreage maximum for PUD? Is it 2 or
5 acres.
It's 5.
Yeah.
So-
okay.
Yeah,
Which that makes
so
sense.
in my mind, because I've seen this happen in Foxfire, and I've also seen this happen Swan Ridge, is that what it's called? The one by Swan Park? Oh, Woodland Estates, where you have some of the property owners that will buy the lot next to them, and of course, they have no plan to build it. But remember, the city put all that infrastructure in there, and we even have laterals that are there for them, and this would stop that in the future.
They could, you could own as many lots as you want
If they're separated. I
if
guess
they're
you could-
separated. So they could still do that.
They couldn't combine them, though.
They could not combine them.
All right.
If it's, as long as they're not over the acreage,
I guess, yeah, if it's 2 half-acre lots, they could
I
combine
could
them.
do it then.
Yeah.
I got a suggestion. I mean, before we draft an ordinance, wouldn't it be prudent to look at these lots and just see if it was divided up, how many more lots the city could gain? The reason I bring that up, because I'm looking at some of these Bethany Home duplexes, not going to change. Recycling center, not going to change. Cemeteries, not going to move. Huge wetland area, maybe a house could be fit in there, not more than one. Mount Tom water tower, not going to change. Couple purple shaded areas that is DNR land and some that is city resource conservation land. So how many lots could we effectively pick up by doing this? I think that would be worthwhile before we adopt an ordinance that says you have to stay underneath this. And if we're only picking up 1 or 2 extra lots, is it really worth it?
What about that property off of Bailey? It's got the flag situation that you discussed, get back to it. Can you zoom in on that? That's undeveloped, right? Is somebody must own that, but
It is actually,
So there's one that's undeveloped and there's one that is developed. So the larger one to the north, that is developed. There's one single family home on it.
right.
The parcel to the south is not developed.
yeah, it looks like that's, I mean, pretty good size, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all for sale?
The parcel to the south,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think it's for sale. I think it's actually owned by. So I don't know if you can go a little to the left, Aaron, to the west.
I cannot. This is
So the parcel connecting that hashed yellow one,
Zoom in.
parcel directly to the west of that, is actually the same owners. So I'm pretty sure they have a private road running through there. Yeah. So yep, that house right there.
That's off of Bailey you're talking?
So and that house I do not actually
there
think
is
is
a
in
road
the
there.
city, but they just use that parcel kind of as an access.
Right.
Well, I appreciate what Justin's saying, and I think it's probably a good idea too. But again, I'm kind of thinking, like, we're planning on at least one new subdivision in town, and I would hate to see somebody buy two lots and combine them together when we put all that infrastructure in there.
And I can get you rough numbers. I mean, of which parcels could be developed, and
I'll even work with you, Jared.
we can. It's a date.
I think it's been a lot of good discussion overall. I think it's a great idea. I
If you want time to think about it, I mean, Justin and I can get together, kind of look at that, and we can bring it back as another discussion item.
Well, I think you should bring it back, because I like the idea of 1 acre for R1,
1 acre. Okay.
yeah. And then I think 3 acres is okay for R2.
Sure.
yeah.
Okay? You guys okay with that? Ivan, Eric, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Take a deeper dive, and we'll bring it back.
All right, thanks. And that would be in ordinance form also?
I do not think so. It probably will not come back in ordinance form yet.
Okay,
Next one will just be another discussion item, and then after that would be maybe an ordinance.
okay. Sounds good. Cool. All right, then we're just to the reports and development update. That's you, I
Yes.
think.
Yes, happy to take that one. Obviously the building permits have continued to pick up. We're in the busy building season. Nice pie chart there at the top. You can see the breakdown. Doing pretty good. That is proud of our building inspectors. They are keeping up quite well for the amount of work that's coming in for them. So, in terms of the zoning permits, again, fairly consistent. I think pretty standard with past years. A lot of fences, signs. Summer's upon us. People are trying to just spruce things up, start to use their yards. So, good to see there.
Can I ask a quick question out of curiosity?
Of course.
I just see a single $13,000 fee. Is there anything special about that caused that, or
Where are you?
so it's under commercial addition,
Commercial edition.
800 square foot atrium?
an office to an existing exterior building.
Yeah, so that is for MPD. So they're adding a addition to their building, new offices, kind of a front atrium, make it look a little better. So quite a bit of building work there,
Got it.
retrofitting. So
And their permit's $13,000?
Yeah,
there is. Yep, it was an expensive project.
It's based off of value.
Off of value.
Or construction costs. So it was high construction.
Significant.
Are they gonna try and beautify that building? I guess that's the term.
I think they're doing quite a bit of work to that to really make it look a lot better. I know talking with the representative from there before they submitted the permit application, they had really talked up how nice it's going to look. They're adding a lot of landscaping, so I think that area is really going to be spruced up. It's a corner building on Royalton's a pretty busy street, so I think having that nice looking building in the front there is really going to spruce up that whole area. So
I agree.
hope it encourages others to do the same.
Right, I agree.
But
Anybody else have anything on this report? Development?
not too much. Yeah, the church, St. Mary's property, which proposed apartments, they continue their deconstruction. Very exciting to see. Facebook has some great aerial shots of that happening. So I appreciate our IT director going out and doing that for us. So really neat to see. The company that's doing it, Recycling, is actually kind of in a partnership with one of our local businesses, Loot Vintage and Supply. So there might be some things coming from the church that are for sale there. So a really cool opportunity. Applaud them for doing that work. It's neat that it's just not going to a landfill. So, and especially with it being a church with some sentiment and history, it's actually going to go back to being able to be reused or even purchased by the public. So, super neat. But that one progresses. I don't have a timeline for deconstruction for them, but they're progressing a lot faster than I think they would have or thought they would have. So,
I wish they'd get it down so we don't have to listen.
The Danes Hall Plaza, we continue to work with them on North Main to see if we can get something going there. I think we're fairly confident that something's going to happen this year. So, continue to work with the property owner on that. We have the new Mexican restaurant, of course, that everybody continues to ask about. So that one, permits have been issued, and I think they're getting ready to roll on construction and get that wrapped up. I do not have an end timeline for that, though.
Other plans have been approved, though. And
Yep,
they're-
plans have been approved there, and they're on their way to continue on. Some other projects in the hopper and the works that we're still working on, so not much to report back on that of any accuracy, so I won't.
I have a question for curiosity for follow up on a previous discussion item.
Sure.
What did Hanson Furniture decide for their signage?
Yes, Hanson Furniture decided to. I think during the meeting it was mentioned that staff recommended. I actually think they have it on the side of their van, but it says Hanson Furniture in kind of the big, or Hanson in big letters, and then underneath it has the 3 words. And they decided to just go with 2 signs, one on the front facing Fulton and one on the side facing, I don't know that street, facing Dunkin' Donuts, that direction. And so they decided to go with 2 signs. They're the exact same signs, Hanson with 3 words, which that was one of staff's recommendations, and they went with it, and I think it'll look great.
Question on the U-Haul. They were going to build a new building up front. Any idea when that's going to start?
That is not in the timeline yet. I know they're continuing to work on the front facade. There's paint that went up. I think the painting of that building made it look a lot better. It looks great. The big K vacancy is gone. So
It's next door.
But so they continue on that. They're continuing to work on the inside. The outside storage units that they have out there, they got to finish up, of course, too. They have a lot of green space that they need to add yet. But I do not have a timeline for that brand new building that they have proposed.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I would guess they would probably start the process going into fall of this year, maybe starting construction 2024. But
Are they renting out spaces already or no?
I do not think so. I think they're still working on the construction.
I got one more.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
What about the apartments that the Foundry talked about putting up? Have they pulled any permits on those, or?
They have not pulled any permits. Again, don't have too much information that I can disclose, but they're really just working on corporate approvals, from my understanding. So
it's basically on hold.
yeah, on hold until
Yeah.
corporates like government doesn't move fast. So they're just waiting on them. So I'm confident that it'll go through. It's a great project, definitely a need for it. So
Huge need.
yeah, we'll see where it goes. But yeah, we have our project in River North that we continue to work on developers with. So we're pushing along on it all, trying to get something to happen and get the housing that we very much need.
Absolutely. Very nice. Thank you. Anything else you want to add to tonight's meeting?
I just want to say, I heard Abbott and Costello on the radio the other day. You guys did a fine job.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
Hoping no one was listening.
Yeah, right. It's only WDU. Yeah, no, I think it's really cool that they give us the opportunity to do that. And I mean, we talk about that all the time, that we need to get out there more, you know, whether it's on the radio or newspaper or our local, our own TV station or radio station, you know, live on Facebook. I mean, any of those things would be pretty awesome. And it's kind of fun to talk about cool things that are happening.
Yeah.
So that makes it even better.
Was that about the Insight magazine article?
No, but that's another thing you can bring up too.
Yeah, so was it the mayor, you and I on that call?
Yeah.
Yep.
We talked with Insight magazine, and they actually did an article on us.
I haven't seen it.
So
Is it nice?
yeah, definitely check it out. I have the copy in my office, so maybe what I'll do is I'll scan it in and
Yeah, let me see it.
just send it to everyone.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, Insight Magazine, it was a highlight on what's happening from an economic development standpoint in Waupaca and Shawano. And a lot of good things about Waupaca. So it's always great to have our city highlighted in a positive.
Well, it's cool to see people that are interested, wanting to know about what's going on there, too.
Right.
I would say this, it wasn't that long ago when nobody even wanted to talk to us.
Good to,
It's kind of cool.
good to be wanted.
Yeah,
The city or you?
well, yeah,
Both.
they go hand in hand. Don't you know that by now?
They're both making a comeback. Strong.
When is the best opportunity to fire you?
I think it passed, unfortunately.
See, Justin, you're not even on the line anymore.
I'm glad he showed up.
Yeah.
Bump me off the list.
All right, anything else?
I didn't see it on the agenda, but will commissioners tonight get to take a vote on Jared's new facial hair, or is that his choice? Mustache there?
If you want to vote on it, we can put it on the next agenda. Whoa,
The 80s is coming back.
disco.
You don't even know what that means.
You know, you could put him on double secret probation.
I could,
Really get him thinking.
yeah. I could do that,
I thought I was always on that.
yeah.
You know what it is.
This is when Colin would bring us back right now, wouldn't he? Okay, I move to adjourn. That is a motion, actually. I move to adjourn.
Oh, second.
Okay.
Motion by myself, and second by Ivan, that we adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, no. Motion carried. We're adjourned at 6:10 p.m. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Got a lot done.